In the magical continent of Ariston sat a warm little kingdom so full of fun. A bustling setting called Riverwood is where this story starts. This is a Ribbitan kingdom, overseen by the royals, and in the royal garden is where this day opens. In Ribbitan, a young princess is in the royal garden playing with her beloved steed and dog Barkley. They are playing fetch, as it is a beautiful day. It is bright and sunny. Please describe Tia for me.
Alright, so I am Tia Rubbit. I am a Ribbitan. I have green skin and I have yellow freckles across my face, because that's the family lineage. That's how you could tell that we're all family. I have kind of on... It's mostly kind of like royal colors, but I have it more casual for my clothes, because I want to try to blend in more. And then I have Barkley, who is a Commodore dog. Is that the breed?
The dogs look like big mops?
Commodore, yeah. That's the type.
Okay. The big mop Commodore dogs.
A big old moppy floppy dog that I like to ride around. He is my steed.
Floppy boy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a beautiful day. You guys are out enjoying the morning, playing some fetch, your parents don't necessarily like that you're out here playing fetch in the yard like a commoner, but you don't care.
Yeah, fuck it.
And from behind you, you hear a voice. Whoa, Tia, playing fetch as usual, I see? And you turn around and you see your older brother, Tio. He is standing there. He, very much like you, has the yellow freckles across his face, but he's dressed a little more fancy. He's actually wearing traveling clothes that are very smart. He's wearing like a blue sort of jacket and riding boots, and like beige colored riding pants as well.
Mm-hmm.
Under his arm, he has a helmet, and he comes and he says to you, it's like a rider's helmet.
Uh-huh.
He's like, "Hey, little sis, good to see you. How about giving the big brother one last smoocheroo before I hit the road?"
I instinctively just instead go like, think fast! I throw the ball at him as he's walking up before he gets to me.
Okay, so you throw this ball at him, and it hits him in the head. Because he rolled a 6. He's not a Dexy boy. It hits him in the head, and he kind of falls backwards. Whoa! And he sits up like, "Ha, you got me again. Ha." And he just kind of rubs his head like, "Ah." There's like a bruise obviously forming, but he seems not at all upset by this. Like, it's just like, siblings, like, that's what we do. "You got me again." And he picks up the ball, and he tries to throw it for Barkley. Doesn't go very far. He only got like a 9. It kind of like does that stupid thing where it like arcs really high, but then falls like just inches in front of him.
Alright.
And he's like, "Yeah, get it, boy."
You're doing it wrong! And I go to pick up the ball and I throw it.
Oh, okay. Give me an athletics check. Yeah, give me.
Oh, I have a -1 in that. This should be fun.
Oh, boy.
That was a 4?
You do pretty much the same thing. It arches up way high, but it literally comes back down almost exactly on your feet. Barkley just looks like confused, like, "Where's the ball, though?"
I just give him some scritchies behind the ear, and I'm like, "Such a good boy."
He kind of barks happily at you, and, it's all about getting this love. Picks up the ball and starts running around the yard with it like it's his prize. And Tio comes up to you and says, "Hey, seriously though, I gotta go. It's time for me to catch my ride, and then I gotta catch a ship to go to school in Stas. Remember we talked about this? How I'm going to study to be a better king for the kingdom when I come back?"
Yeah, I just don't want you to leave. Like, you can't stay here for an extra few?
I don't know. With Mom and Dad getting on in age, I don't really want to, like, risk anything. I'd rather go and learn all that I can about the world and come back a better ruler for our kingdom. Don't you want that?
Yeah, I do. I don't see you anymore.
Sorry, it's just part of being the heir, It stinks.
Alright, come here. And I, like, pull him in for, like, a big old, like, bear hug.
Aw, you guys have a very nice little sibling moment where he gives you a squeeze, and it's almost like a little too much. Like brothers do. Kind of picks you up a little and does a little shaky shake. And then puts you to, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's adorable!
And he puts you down, and he smiles at you real big and says, "Don't worry, sis. It's for the best. It's gonna be great, you know? I'll write every week."
You mean every day?
Don't push your luck, kid.
All right, get out of here.
All right, I'll see you later. And he kind of scoots on his way. And you see he also mounts a dog, but his mount is actually a mastiff. He's a big mastiff named Bruiser.
Bruiser! I like that.
And he takes off, surrounded by the guards, the family guards that are meant to escort him to the ship, and essentially to take the ship to Stas to a school there. Your family were kind of hesitant also to let him go, not just you. Because it is their heir, but they want to do what's best for him, and he's very set on the idea that learning more about technology rather than, the magic that your family has always known might be beneficial to the kingdom. And so you spend a really lovely day. And we're going to now fast forward about 6 months.
Okay.
You're in your room. What would your room look like?
I think my room would probably be filled with, probably poor drawings, but drawings of, civilian life and, different adventures I've gone on in the city walls. Probably some pictures of family and the dog, and it's probably lavish behind all the pictures and everything, but she doesn't really care about the royal life as much, so it's just cool, they decorated it, and then I put shit over it. Posters, drawings, all that kind of stuff.
Sure. You start to become concerned, because your brother hasn't sent you any letters, and he's not someone to break a promise. You know that, the journey would have probably taken him a month and a half or so to get from Ariston to Stas by ship. But it's been more than that, and it's starting to be deeply concerning. And you miss him. You guys were close at one point, and that's when you get a knock on the door.
Alright, I go and I answer the door hesitantly, just kind of like a slow open.
When you open the door, one of the servants of the house greets you. He's wearing a black tails suit. He's got white gloves on. And he has a very dark green pallor to him. And very big green eyes. And you know this butler's name to be Jeffrey.
Jeffrey! Any word yet from my brother?
Madam, yes. Your parents do request your presence in the study.
Oh, I don't like that.
Sorry, ma'am. Just the messenger. You know how it is.
Yeah, I know. I'll go ahead and go. Don't worry about it.
Okay, ma'am, as you wish. Shall I take Mr. Barkley outside?
Yeah, I think it's been a minute since he peed. Go ahead and take him out.
As you wish, ma'am. And he calls to Barkley, and Barkley, very familiar with this person, is amped, charges down the stairs as dogs that are very excited do, barking all the way. And Jeffrey, very, very regal beside, just walking stair by stair, as is his duty. Do you head to the study?
I do, but as I go down, I kind of get my posture straight, get everything right, because I know my parents want me to present more royal and more proper. Sure. I don't like it, but I know that this seems more serious, so I just straighten up, and I'm kind of brushed off my clothes and kind of fiddling with my fingers a little bit, nervously.
Okay. So you situate yourself, and you head down the long marble hallway that leads to the family study. You don't spend a lot of time in here, I wouldn't imagine. It's a big, stuffy room, usually where your father spends a lot of his time. There's lots of books on the wall. There's a large fireplace on one side. So there's small lamps lit around the walls, and it has a very warm feel, but also a very claustrophobic almost kind of feel.
Almost like that suffocating feeling you get in your chest.
It's like when you're in a row of bookshelves in a library.
Oh, okay. I know that feeling.
It's that kind of a feel, big and small at the same time, where it feels dusty and almost unnerving, you don't know who's gonna pop out.
Yeah.
And that's just how the study kind of feels for some reason. It's not very open.
Okay, I got you.
But in that room, your father is sitting at his desk, and your mother is sitting on, like, one of the well-loved armchairs. Give me a perception check.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, then you definitely notice both of your parents look, obviously distraught. Your mother is curled on the couch, and she's repeatedly dabbing her eye with a handkerchief. And she's just kind of not even managing to stifle, like, her feelings. And your father is kind of doing a little bit of a better job, but he seems unsteady. And he's got this sort of set to his jaw that you recognize as being something he does when he's extremely stressed or upset. And that's not like them. They're usually very soft people, like very kind and generally pleasant. They're a little more strict, but they're not usually, frowny folks.
Yeah. Like, all Ribbitans have a little bit of, like, joy to them, and they just seem kind of sad. Right.
So you notice this as you walk in, and your father kind of straightens up. He was looking at something on his desk, and you can see tears in his eyes. And he says, Tia, we have terrible news. The ship that your brother was on, it was sank in a storm, and there were no survivors. They only just found out now. They haven't been able to find his body.
Before he can finish the words, she just kind of, like, without words, just kind of grabs her dad and kind of, like, tries to pull her mom up at the same time, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Just like a family hug, just
both,
like...
Yeah, you try to initiate hugs. They don't fight you on it. Your mother just kind of melts into your body, weeping. And your father kind of stoically tries to, like, hold you all together in a solemn grieving. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. He's trying not to make a scene, but you can tell he's hurting,
I just kind of look up and I go, Dad, it's okay to cry.
It'll be okay.
Dad, it's not okay.
No, it's awful. It's really awful.
Cry. It's okay, Dad. Come here. Just let it out.
He just kind of pats your head. Like, he just kind of soothes you both. Like, he smushes you both in, like, a hug. Mm-hmm. And he smushes your head down, so you can't tell if he's crying.
I just bury my face in. I'm just losing it.
Yeah. And it's a very sad day in the kingdom. It's announced, the colors of mourning are put up throughout the kingdom. There's a large ceremony that takes place, very formal, very uncomfortable. And it's deeply sad. Fast forward again, about 2 or 3 months. Things have never really been the same. What would Tia be doing now that she's lost her brother and she's been declared the heir?
In the last couple months, she'd probably spend some time with her parents, because she wants to make sure they're okay. Because, like, she knows her parents want her to be very proper, especially now, and maybe they might be a little bit more strict. She's not like that, but she's gonna pretend for a little bit. Mm-hmm. Maybe at least a few weeks, that's fine.
Sure.
She's probably crying a lot in her room, probably on her own. Also knowing her, she's probably trying to find escapes and literally sneaking out at night.
Okay.
Like, probably nightly.
Sure. So let's say this is an afternoon, and you're in your room having your cry. And you hear a bird at the window. Real close, too. This morning, one of the servants must have opened the window to get air in.
I like birds. I wipe the tears from my eyes a little bit. Almost kind of groggily goes over to the window to see what's going on.
There's bird literally perched in your window, and tied to one of its legs appears to be a message.
Is this a common thing that birds are, like, messenger birds are a thing?
Yeah, messenger birds wouldn't be uncommon in Ariston.
Okay, so I take, like, the message and I give the bird a little bit of feed and, like, pet its little head a little bit, like, oh, what a cutie.
Sure, it's like a little robin, and it's very excited to get pets and scritches, and it happily accepts the seed while you take the letter from its leg.
Settle back down in, like, probably a comfortable chair for a minute, because letters haven't been positive lately.
Right.
And take, like, a deep breath, like and open up the letter to read it.
Sure. Give me a perception check.
This one not so good? This one's an 8.
Oh boy, okay. So as you open the letter, some of it kind of starts to tear in your hands. The paper seems weathered or burned. It doesn't seem like it's very good quality paper.
Mm-hmm.
As you open it, you notice a lot of it's been smeared, possibly by weather, maybe water of some kind. But it's a nearly illegible letter. But you do recognize that it has somewhat familiar handwriting. The letter says, "Dear Tia, I fear this may be the first and only," and then it's all smeared out. "I heard tell that your brother," and then it's kind of torn a little, and then it says, "travel to Stas," and then it's torn a little. And then there's like a lot of smudges, and you see the words, "to dig deeper, a little too deep, I'm afraid." Then there's like a lot of illegible text smeared by water or tears. And then it says, "last place investigated was," and then it seems like stuff was like missing or torn out. And it's all blurry until it says, "the most beautiful gardens in all of Thray. Wish you could have seen. But Tio," and then there's burn marks on the paper here, and it says, "send help, hurry, Rain."
Oh, shit. And that's all the information I can get from there?
That's all the information you can get from that.
I call Jeffrey.
You call Jeffrey.
Jeffrey!
Okay.
Jeffrey!
Do you like open your door and
panic.
shout down the stairs? Okay.
Yeah, I say almost like panicked, like, Jeffrey! Jeffrey! Jeffrey!
You start shouting, Jeffrey, Jeffrey, and then Jeffrey essentially comes running up the stairs. He's an older Ribbitan, so this is bizarre to see. His tailcoat just flying behind him. He's huffing and puffing. He's panicked, like wide panic in his eyes. "Ma'am! Oh, what's wrong, ma'am?"
I got this letter.
Oh.
I know. I think it's from it's from Rain, but I think it's about Tio, but it's damaged, and I can't decipher the rest of this. Do we have somebody who can help?
From your friend Miss Rain, I thought you hadn't heard from her in years.
I haven't, but I got this letter, and it's torn, and it's stained and burned, and it's just fucked, Jeffrey. I need help.
Fucked, you say? Well,
I know language, Jeffrey. I know. But look at this. Do we have somebody who could try to fix it?
I don't know anyone who could fix it in our town, miss. We don't have magic users right now. I know a lot of them have traveled elsewheres or to work at the school.
You're no help, Jeffrey. I just kind of like close the door.
Okay.
Poor Jeffrey. I just close the door because I'm just panicked at this point.
Yeah.
What she's probably going to do is write down what she can read from it.
Sure.
And God, fuck, what do I do?
I mean, what would Tia do?
Would I have any knowledge where Rain might be? Like, she's probably not in the city, I'm assuming.
I mean, she wouldn't be in Riverbrook. No, she left. From what you had told me, your friend Rain had left on a journey over a year ago and was supposed to stay in touch with you because she wanted to learn more about the world, and she hadn't really kept up with that promise. She's always kind of been flaky with her promises.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So she wasn't very clear, but she did mention in her letter someplace called Thray.
Thray?
Which you know is another continent next to Stas, the other continent your brother was traveling to.
I think I'd start packing.
Yeah? Okay.
So that I can go. She's in panic mode, so she just needs to, like, get her shit together and go.
Sure, lol. Let's do... How about we do a wisdom check to see what you're packing? For fun!
A 6.
Oh, good. There is very little of actual use in this baggage. You start throwing in, like, you had socks, which is definitely useful, but then you didn't actually include any pants or anything like that. You put, like, half a bar of soap in there, but then you took it out and you don't need soap. Fuck soap. You try to put your pillows in there. Pillows don't make sense, but you put them in there anyway because they're soft and it soothes you. And you put in a leash in there, but you don't put in the collar for Barkley, and, like, You randomly have a bunch of dog treats in there, but you definitely can't eat those. You're not sure how useful that'll be. Like, you have like random shit like that doesn't make sense on a journey. Like, you're like, why am I trying to take all these books? I don't. So it is a pretty useless baggage, but you do it.
Yeah.
Panic packing at its best. You definitely did not pack underpants.
She probably is sitting there panicking about trying to package for like maybe an hour. Like, just like, I don't need this, I need this, but I don't need this, but I need this, and wait, do I need my stuffies? No, I don't need a stuffy. I'm a big girl.
Okay, so while you're panicking, you hear a knock on the door.
I just like go like, what?
Is that really any way to talk to your father, Missy?
Dad? I'm sorry, I didn't know it was you. What?
So he opens the door, and he's standing there looking at the chaos that is now your room. And he's going, actually, I think I should be asking you that question. What is going on in here? Jeffrey said you were acting most peculiar.
I just kind of like shoved the letter at him. I'm like, I gotta go, like, now.
Whoa. And he's holding this letter, which is like practically disintegrating in his hand. Like, it's literally so damaged. And he's like, this is hardly even legible, darling. Why does this have you in a tizzy?
Dad, Rain's in trouble. She saw Tio. I have to go.
She couldn't have seen Tio. Tio passed away. She must be mistaken.
Well, I don't know how old this letter is. Look at it.
But the ship went down before they even reached land. There's no way.
But if she saw him, she might be in danger.
What if this isn't even your friend Rain? What if this is someone plotting against our kingdom? Darling, you can't just go on a whim.
I have to check her anyways. Yes, I can.
No, absolutely not. You're the heir of this kingdom and you have responsibilities.
Dad.
Look, I have
to learn on my own as well.
I have already lost one heir and I'm not losing a second. Do you hear me, young lady?
Do you think that didn't affect me too?
I know it affects you
No, Dad,
too.
I have to go.
No. Absolutely not. No. And if you try to leave, I'm going to lock you into your room. Absolutely. You're not going anywhere. No. Absolutely not.
She just kind of like huffy puffs and just like sits down like, huh!
Now, don't get yourself all in a puff. We'll talk about this in a calm, rational manner over dinner, where your mother can be present and we can have a family discussion about what is happening here. But this is not the way to handle a crisis, young lady.
She's just staring.
All right.
She's just so angry that she's just staring like death
having like a fucking
daggers
temper
for
tantrum
eyes.
right now.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. I'll talk to you later. And he closes the door. And you hear... Well, I don't know if you hear this or not, so give me a perception roll.
A 6.
You don't hear anything. You hear voices muffled beyond the hall. You know that he spoke to somebody, and you're not sure who. And you sit in your room, angry.
Yep. Out of curiosity, how far is the drop from my window?
I mean, you tell me. You've been sneaking out, so you would know this.
Realistically, it would be pretty easy for me to sneak out if I've been doing it every night.
Ribbitans are high jumpers, if I remember correctly.
I'm gonna attempt to, like, sneak out of my room to at least be the fuck away from my father.
In broad daylight?
Yeah, fuck it.
Okay. Give me a stealth roll.
She's in a tizzy. She's in a tizzy. She's gonna try to do it. Let's go. These dice suck too. 7.
Hold on.
She's doing real well right now.
She's doing good. She's so angry that she can't function as a human. Yeah.
My dice like story, evidently.
You get spotted right away by the guards that are outside patrolling, and they start shouting, and they draw the attention of pretty much anyone who's wanting to watch, and they're like, "Young miss, don't drop out your window that way, you could injure yourself." Like, just well-meaning, very concerned guards, like, "No, that's not the way to exit the building." Like,
I do it anyways.
Oh, anyway, you don't care that they've seen you. Okay. So you drop into the courtyard. You are immediately surrounded by 4 guards who have been told by your father to watch out to make sure you don't leave.
I, like, collect my breath and, like, kind of straighten up my clothes. I'm like, I am the princess. I need 10 minutes alone away from that dad.
We're sorry, princess. We have orders, and they come from a higher authority than you.
10 minutes. I just need 10 minutes. I'm very upset, and I don't want to be inside.
Give me a persuasion roll.
7.
Oh, I was going to say, I got an 18, unfortunately. They are very steadfast in their loyalty to your father, and they know where their bread is buttered, unfortunately, and it isn't with a young princess. And they look very sad about it.
I don't make it easy for him.
You don't? Okay. Would you like to initiate a combat?
Not combat, she's just kicking.
Okay.
Like, she knows that they're gonna grab her anyways, but she's not gonna make it easy, so she's just, like, flailing.
They're going to attempt to grapple you then. What is your AC?
My AC is 16.
Okay, they got a 19 on the die. Sorry, these dice apparently want to kick your butt.
I was hoping she'd be better at the game.
You know what? Sometimes our dice tell us other things. That's just the way it goes.
That's okay. This is how you develop a character.
Exactly. So they gently grapple you. You're just kind of flailing like a toddler, like your feet are going everywhere. But they seem very much unperturbed. They seem actually sad they have to do this. They're like, we're sorry, princess. We get it. We have kids. We know. And so they're like, they bring you back upstairs and they gently put you back in your room and then lock the door behind them. You can hear like the armory outside, like you can hear armor, so you know at least one or two of them are probably outside guarding. And you can gather that some of them are probably going back to the window.
She's probably just gonna like sit in her room and scream like bloody fucking murder for like 10 minutes just out of frustration. To save everybody's ears, I'm not going to actually scream right now.
Much appreciated. Maybe Tony can hook us up with some frog screams. I don't know what that would sound like, but... So yeah, so that's what happens. You throw your little tantrum. Nighttime comes. And you do have two options here. I'm going to give you another opportunity to try and sneak out. Or you can wait and try and have a conversation with your parents.
Has it been a few hours?
Yeah.
And is Barkley in the room?
Yeah, he's been in there hanging out with you.
Okay, if I'm with Barkley, I'm probably calm down a little bit. And so I'm just waiting for dinner.
Yeah, okay.
Because I know I didn't pack food.
Except for dog treats, you know.
Except for dog treats, but those are very edible.
Barkley does not agree. Okay, so you hear the door unlock, and you see a very worried Jeffrey kind of poke his head in. Madam, you are requested at the dinner table. And he kind of looks frightened of you, like he's kind of hiding behind the door, like he thinks that you're gonna maybe throw something at him.
I like peek my head out and I'm like, I know I was angry before, but I've never hurt you, Jeffrey. You're a good person.
Well, ma'am, we all do have moods sometimes. I just wanted to make sure.
I just like pat him on the head and walk away.
Okay. You go down towards the supper table. Your parents are there waiting. There's a very modest little spread. Your family isn't frivolous in their general meals. So there's like, some meat and vegetables. There's like a salad. Very simple. And there's a very long table, but your parents choose to sit just at one area. So like your father's at the head of the left side of the table. Your mother is at his left-hand side. And then there's a seat that you'll usually sit from across from them. So that way you're all kind of in the same area.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a plate set there for you, and they're just waiting.
I want to decide what I want to do.
Okay.
My dice seem to want me to be a fucking child. If I work with them, maybe they'll work better.
Maybe.
I just go up, I like make myself a plate, and I go to the opposite side of the table.
Oh, salty.
And I sit down.
Salty! Your parents just kind of stare like at you like blasé, like, oh, I see. And your father says, it's going to be rather difficult for you to prove your point from all the way across the table.
She just shrugs.
If you won't talk, We can't come to any kind of an agreement. And your mother goes, please, dear, not talking has never been a solution to a problem.
It hasn't. Dad didn't even let me talk earlier, so I'm gonna sit here and be the princess that you want me to be.
And your mother kind of looks at your father like, dear. And your father just kind of looks abashed, you know, like I lost my temper too. Like, and she goes, well, your father aside, I, as your mother, would like to speak to you. And I don't have any particular way that I want you to be a princess. I want you to be happy, as all mothers do.
So I give like a sigh and I sit next to Mom.
Okay.
And I like smooth out the paper, because yes, I brought it.
Every time you touch it, it seems to crumble a little more. So there's like less and less of it every time.
I also bring what I wrote down.
Okay.
And lay it next to him like, I know this is hard to decipher. I think this is Rain. I think she's in trouble. I can't stay here knowing she's out there in need.
So your mother kind of delicately looks at this paper. She like puts her fingers on it to read it, like the very tippy tips of her fingers, because she's trying to like read it without further damaging it.
Well, I have what I can read to the side of it.
Sure. And she looks at your notes, and she doesn't seem like she can read very much of it. She's like struggling to like decipher it. She reads your notes, and she's like, okay, I see. Are you sure this is Rain's handwriting?
It's definitely Rain's handwriting.
Oh, dear.
Who else do we know named Rain who knows Tio?
I mean, not many, but you've been very sheltered this life, and you've been very fortunate in that you haven't encountered many people with ill intent. But your father and I have had different experiences, and we're just concerned that if this isn't Rain, which it likely is, I trust your judgment, but if it isn't her, what will you do?
Then I'll have to come back. I have to go out and experience the world some point. What better way than to help my friend?
And so your father, like, just looks very intense. Like, he's trying not to interrupt, but he's got that face on, like, he wants to say things, but he's looking at your mother, like, for permission kind of deal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know right now who's wearing these pants. Like,
Yeah.
And your mother kind of, like, adjusts her crown and, like, throws her shoulders back and folds her gloved hands in front of her. And she looks at your father, and she's wearing a pair of her spectacles on her nose. She looks at your father over them, and she says, dear. And this tone of voice seems to set your father on edge, because he just, like, stiffens. Like,
Okay.
Dear, we ought to think about this and allow our daughter to experience the world. So give me a persuasion roll with advantage.
14 plus 5. So that'd be 19.
Ooh. Okay. So you tied with your dad. But you beat your mom. So your mom's convinced that you should be let to go. But your father's still like, I just don't want to lose her too. And then he like slams his hands on the table and he gets up and he shoves his dinner away and he goes, excuse me. And he just leaves. Like, he is so fucking furious. Like, he's so upset. And he just kind of storms out of the room. And your mother's like, and goes, that man. Enjoy your dinner, dear. I'll talk to him tonight. And
thank you, Mom.
Of course.
And I give her like a hug, like I pull her in like unexpectedly.
She smiles and she gives you a good little cuddle. She says, don't worry, mother has this. Like and you guys have kind of a quiet little dinner after that. Your dad doesn't come back.
Okay.
What do? You have the rest of the castle, it seems, to yourself tonight.
Well, I spend the dinner with my mom. I think I would probably try to own up to the fact that I was being a fucking child earlier. I'd probably just, like, try to, like, make light of not the situation, but, like, make jokes and try to get her laughing again.
Sure.
Because it's been fucking dark the last few months.
Yeah, it's been pretty gloomy. Like, your mother's still wearing dark clothing, and so is your father, like, morning clothes.
Yeah.
So yeah, she does, like, little polite laughs, you know, you see a little of the old sparkle. And you also catch her occasionally feeding your dog under the table some of her scraps.
I also give Barkley some nice scraps. He's a well-fed dog.
Yes, and you have a nice little dinner. So I assume you go back up to your room?
I go back up to my room. I'm assuming I have more servants than Jeffrey, right? Or is it just Jeffrey?
I mean, Jeffrey is probably, like, the primary servant, but yeah, we can say that you probably have a couple more. Like, you likely have, like, maids.
I'd probably ask a maid to help me pack.
Sure.
So I could actually pack properly.
You find a maid, and she's more than happy to help you do that. She kind of just carefully starts selecting clothes, like holding up, like, this one or this one, and lets you pick which one you want. What kind of occasions are you looking for? And you're like, I don't know how to tell you that that's not an occasion kind of thing. Like,
I'm going on an adventure, not a ball.
But she tries her best. Is there anything you'd like to do for the night, or would you...
Do we have, like, a map room or something like that? Like, or a place where I can look at maps?
There'd probably be a war room where there would be maps and things like that.
I'd probably go to the war room and, like, chart out how I'd get to, is it Strat, you said?
Stas, but the note had contained the word, like, the continent Thray.
Which one's closer?
Thray.
So I'd probably chart a course for Thray.
Okay.
Just so that I can go to the closest place first.
Sure.
And kind of plan out my route.
Sure. How about you just give me a straight intelligence roll to see how that goes?
Okay, what's my intelligence? Oh, cool. It's going to be +0. Oh! See, they do like story. It's a 17.
Oh, okay, so it goes very well. You seem very proficient in maps. You really enjoy doing it, actually. You've always in your head planned an adventure that you were going to have, and you'd watched your brother do it a couple different times. And you are very skilled at it. So you managed to make yourself a map. You calculate how long it's going to take and what ships you're going to need to catch, and you have it all planned out.
Okay.
You also know... from that roll, that there is a ship leaving this very night out of the port in town, heading to Thray.
I think with my earlier temper tantrum, I'd probably try to, like, stay away from, like, sneaking out and, like, not being able to say goodbye to my family.
Aw, that's fair.
Because I don't want to put them through that trauma if I do die.
Oh, no! Like, that's considerate,
last interaction was, like, anger and frustration, so she's probably sitting there continuing to plan things out, making sure she has a plan out as well as best to her ability that she can do in one night.
Sure.
I'd also, if possible, try to preserve the letter as best as I can.
Okay. In what way are you going to try and do that?
I just don't want it to disintegrate any further.
Okay, well, what would...
Is there a magical laminate?
Is there a magical laminate? Do you know magic? Like...
No, but maybe there's somebody there who can?
You would know, you would probably be able to try to put glue on it. Glue's definitely a thing.
Am I able to frame it?
Sure, give me an investigation check to see if you can find something to fix this, or at least keep it more intact. That face.
Why now do I get a nat 20?
Nat 20? Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, for that. Like, for the letter, like.
Lol. So, since you're in the war room, you start going through some of the papers, and you find that your father apparently has, like, a book full of preserved letters, and they're in this very sticky paper that's like film-covered paper that appears to keep them flat and keep them enclosed. And there are different like pages of that. So you find this book and you tear out one of the pages that are empty, and you put this into the page and you tuck it safely away so it stays flat and closed. Do you know what I'm talking about? The sticky paper that preserves... It looks like cellophane.
No.
Okay.
But I can imagine it?
Sure. It exists, I just don't know the name for it.
That's cool. But I've never heard of it, but that sounds kind of neat.
It's kind of like, have you ever seen an old photo album?
Yeah.
And you know how they peel up and they have that clear bit? But you put the photos in and then you put the clear bit over and it sticks?
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's like that. It's like that, yeah. But it's for documents. Usually they're used for very delicate historical documents.
Oh, okay. Yes, I put the letter in there.
Yep.
do
so
that.
it is preserved from becoming further damaged.
I probably will keep that on my person
Yeah.
forever.
Like it's... Oh. So you do that. You do that very successfully.
Surprisingly.
Oh my gosh, finally. I was like, why am I rolling high and you're not? What is this?
And I go to bed for the morning.
So you go to bed. We'll fast forward to the morning. You hear birds calling. It's a beautiful day. You wake up to a very cold nose snuffling at your face because Barkley would like to go out.
I give him his scritchies behind the ears, and I go to take him outside.
He's got a lot of wags. He takes a big old tail wag at you, very excited, like, woof, kind of thing, and...
I try to sneak some treats into my hand.
Okay. Give me a sleight of hand check. Try and be sneaky about it.
12?
12? Yeah, that's enough. I mean, he's a dog. He doesn't have that great of perception. So you wander down the hall to let Barkley out into the yard, and he kind of explodes into the garden as he does. Scares off a bunch of birds that kind of, like, fly upwards out of the garden, like, with a foop kind of sound.
I, like, giggle, and I'm just, like, having a blast for a moment.
And as you're sitting out there, you see your father is actually out there. He's standing on the balcony of the garden, just staring into the garden. And he looks tired.
Is he, like, sitting at a wall, or, like...
He's, like, there's, like, a bunch of stairways, and he's standing against the railing kind of deal, like, leaning against the railing.
I kind of just come up next to him and lean. I don't say anything for, like, a little bit, and I just kind of stare off with him.
Sure.
In case he has something to say first.
I mean, he almost doesn't even seem to notice you. He's so wrapped up in his own head or whatever it is he's thinking about. He doesn't really seem to acknowledge you. It doesn't seem like he is snubbing you on purpose. It just seems like he's far away.
I just kind of speak up, and I'm like, you know I have to go today, right?
He kind of looks almost startled that you're there, and kind of looks oh, yes, Tia, I know you have to go.
I just kind of, like, look at him, and I, like, give him a hug.
He just kind of pats your shoulder, like, affectionately.
I'll try not to tear up in real life.
Oh,
so
the feels! Right in the feels. Gotcha.
I just give him a big ol' hug, and I'm just like, I love you, Dad. I hope you know that.
I love you as well, and I hope you know that. You have that nice little moment with your dad. Barkley comes back up and starts basically, like, jumping on you guys. Like, he's got the ball in his mouth, he's dropping it on you, and because dogs have no sense of timing at all. And, and so he's like, one, very excited, just barking, wants to play, and your father kind of chuckles, picks up the ball, and throws it for him. But he throws just as bad as you and Tio. So it just arches up, and it falls over the balcony, so it goes further, but only because you're, like, uphill.
Yeah.
And Barkley is all about it. He's like, Shah! And charges into the garden, like, plows into a flower bed, covered in mud, having a time of his fucking life. Just...
Yeah.
And your dad says, you'll have to take him with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, your mother and I will see you off then. Are you already packed?
Yes, I am.
Very good.
Did you want to see my route?
Do you have it planned?
Yes, I do.
Yes, show me.
I kind of walk back to the war room with him. Like, I already have everything written out and, like, planned out as best as I can.
Yeah.
But I just walk him through it because I know that this is my dad's comfort language.
Right.
It's like, here's my plan. Here's
plan.
how I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not being dumb about this, and, like, to also have him take me seriously.
Sure. He seems proud. He seems extremely impressed. He tells you that he doesn't see any flaws in the plan, that it looks very safe, that you picked a safe route. And he kind of gives you, like, a little chin chuck kind of thing, like, I'm proud of my girl kind of thing. And he says, right, well then, we best get on with it. And he kind of adjusts his jacket.
I tell him I'll write him once a week. And I also give him a copy of my route and everything, just in case I do go missing or something.
Okay. You watch as he carefully pegs it into the wall of the war room. Give me a perception check.
Ooh, 19 plus 4.
You see that it's pegged next to a route that was meant for your brother to have taken.
Oh. That's sad. I don't like that.
I don't want that. And he looks at you and he says, when you come home, I'll take it down.
Okay.
And he kind of hugs you again, gives you a small kiss on the forehead, and says, I'm proud of you, my girl. Just be safe. Please come back to us.
I will. I promise.
And that's that. I mean, you kind of prepare. Your mother tearfully says goodbye to you, gives you a smooch. She kind of hoists some money into your hands and tells you to hide it in your bodice. Like,
how much money did she give me?
She gives you about 50 gold.
50 gold.
And then, like, goes through a whole modicum of things to watch out for, like, don't talk to shady people in alleys, and, no means no, and make sure you don't put your drink down when you're by yourself. Like, a bunch of...
Sage old motherly advice?
Yes. Make sure you always have clean underpants. Like, it's very much that. And then she gives you a smooch, and they wave goodbye as you travel out of the kingdom.
I'm waving. And I'm, like, kind of crying a little bit.
Oh. And Barkley beneath you is just having the time of his life again. You're on his little saddle, and he is just charging ahead. Full of drool. It's very good.
Real quick, I want to make sure that's noted, because I don't really want to be known as a princess. I left my crown behind.
Okay.
But I have a family ring that's just like a little green emerald. Yeah, a green emerald with a little fly in it is what the symbol is.
Oh, cute.
I keep that on, but I leave my tiaras and stuff at home.
Yeah, I mean, you'd want to be incognito just to be safe. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do next is we're going to jump into a very small skills challenge for Tia to get safely to the port. And the way that this is going to work is, unlike skill challenges where you have other people, you can use the same skill even if you've used it before. Like, you can't, like,
just
as long as it's
back.
not spamming, yeah.
Gotcha.
So, as you are traveling, you start to head down through the town, and people begin to kind of, like, it's a busy part of town, like, it's the market. There's lots of people. How do you safely traverse?
Can I use my insight to see if I would kind of, like, know the right paths to go down?
So insight is more for, like, knowing how people feel and knowing if they're lying to you.
Can I use perception then to see if I know what right paths to go down?
Yeah, you can use perception to see if you see a route through.
That is a 17, 18, 19, 20. That's a dirty 20.
Yeah, that's absolutely a success. Also, I should let you know that you are allowed 3 failures. I will not tell you how many successes you get, but I am keeping track. Okay, so that is 1 success. So you manage to, go around carts that are getting put up. People, like, kind of wave at you and say good morning. It's very cheerful, and you don't bump into anybody, and you manage to get through the town. And you're starting to leave it behind, but you enter into an area that's more foresty than what you're used to. There's a lot of trees. It starts to get a little bit dark. How are you helping the situation?
Can I use animal handling to try to get Barkley to giddy up before it gets dark?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
12?
Yes, that is a success.
Oh, okay, damn, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's your first skill challenge and you're by yourself. I tend not to make it super hard. It's just, unfortunately, some rolls in my last session were quite bad.
It's all good.
And that is 2 successes. So you managed to essentially skillfully handle your mount to move a little bit faster. He starts panting a little harder, but he doesn't seem unhappy. He seems like he's loving the run. And you guys seem really in sync.
Cool.
You burst out of the forest, and ahead of you, you start to be able to see, like, the cusp of the ocean. You can see, along the sides of the roads, there are small fields and gardens and things like that. And there are some people, like, selling, like, on the side of the road kind of deal, like, vegetables, flowers, fruits, like, hawking their wares.
Mm-hmm.
And you're coming to, like, a small bridge where it seems like there's a lot of foot traffic. What are you doing to safely traverse this area?
I mean, try to just walk across.
Are you going to dismount and walk across?
No. Stay on it. Would you want me to do like an athletics check or something to just try to get across this bridge? Like,
well, describe to me what you're doing. Athletics would be like maybe you jump over the whole bridge. Like,
I mean,
if you want to try jumping over the whole bridge, I'm not going to stop you from doing that. You can also just try to plow through and sprint.
I think I'm just going to try to plow through and sprint.
Sure, okay. Give me an athletics check for sure.
I should have done something else because I realized I have -1, but fuck it, story.
I don't know.
It's a 9.
Unfortunately, that is a failure.
You learn. This is how you learn.
And you're like, I can just do this, no problem. I can just outrun all these other people. No, you run directly into them and essentially cause like a human traffic jam with you and your dog. Like,
yeah.
You just plow into a bunch of people. There's like screaming and shouting and a bunch of angry Ribbitan people that are like, but then they realize like they recognize your facial markings. And they're like, oh, we're just kidding. But how do you smooth over this situation?
I'm gonna stealthily walk away.
You're gonna stealthily walk away.
Like,
okay, give me a stealth roll.
Dip
Why not?
and duck my way out of there. Poorly. 7.
No. Okay, that's another failure. Why? So you try to stealth, but it's not good. It's super not good. You think you're stealthy, and like you're like, ooh, doo 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 doo. It's like when you're watching The Emperor's New Groove, and Kronk has his own theme music as he's walking away, and he's going ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, and it's like that. It's literally that bad. And everyone just kind of sees you do it, and they're like, oh god, and they just turn away, like, oh, okay, bye, princess. Okay, bye.
Oh, this is so cringy.
Oh,
just look
no,
away.
She's crazy. Yeah, like, oh no.
All right.
Failing upwards in that one,
This is not how I thought Tia was gonna go, but okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
Sometimes I feel like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2 successes, 2 failures. I must remind you, you only have 1 failure left.
Okay.
Okay.
What do I have high in?
So you can see the ocean from here, and Barkley can smell it. He seems very excited. How would you like to proceed?
To go the rest of the way, I'm gonna try to persuade somebody to, like, essentially show me how to get to the ship. Is that where I'm trying to go to?
You're trying to get to the ship.
So I'm gonna persuade somebody to pretty much come with me to go there, pretty much, so that they can help me get
to,
there.
like, guide you? Sure.
Yeah. Is it 8 plus 5? 9, 10, 11, 12,
Nice.
13?
That is a success.
Barely.
Absolutely a success. By the skin of your teeth. So you manage to, like, kind of awkwardly slink away, but as you're slinking away and people are trying to avert your eyes, you're like, actually, I don't know where I'm going. And you kind of look around, and there's, like, one small kid who hasn't averted his eyes, who's, like, just staring at you like, wow, it's a princess. Ah.
Hey, kid.
Me?
Yeah. Do you know where the ship is?
Yeah, I know ships.
Do you want to bring me to the ship?
I can bring you to the ship.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, cool. I'll follow you.
Cool. Can I pet your dog, though?
Oh, absolutely. He loves it. Like, get right behind his ears. He loves it, just like Breaker.
So the kid gets all up in that fur. He's so excited. And then he very excitedly starts showing you the way. Like, I have a journey for a princess. Journey for a princess. I'm her knight. He can't be more than, like, 6 or 7. Like, so excited. He is the knight of his own story right now. But he's easy enough to follow. Like, if you start getting behind, he'll wait and hop kind of excitedly. Mm-hmm. Like, kind of like when you're in a game and an NPC is like, follow me this way! And they'll stop and wait if you're taking too long looking at other things on the side of the road.
I kind of hum, like, a tune underneath. Like, just he's singing, so I'm, like, just humming, like, like, making it more fun.
And that will be a success on your challenge. You are successfully led to the ship.
Oh, I really made that by the skin of your teeth. Holy
by the
shit.
skin of your teeth, boo. You can hear the waves crashing on the shore. And you've never been to the sea very much, so this is like a new sensation. It's very soothing. Barkley seems super excited and starts immediately trying to drink the water, which he very quickly realizes is not good. He kind of like snuffles at it.
I'm very trial and error, so I just let him try it.
You notice very quickly it's not good. You can smell the salt coming off the water, and you likely have been told that it's salt. Mm-hmm. But you see the ship docked on the shore, and there's like a Ribbitan man who appears to be the captain, kind of just standing, waiting, probably for passengers. He's got a clipboard. He's dressed in like a high-waisted coat with gold buttons, like very piratey kind of coat, imagine, on a Ribbitan. And he stands very tall for Ribbitan, I suppose. He's very thin, and he's got kind of like almost brown skin.
Okay.
And he sees you, and he says, "Oh, welcome. Would you like to book a passage?"
Yes, I would.
Wonderful. That'll just be where is it that you're going?
I'm going to Thray.
Ah, I see. Well, that will be 5 gold, and that includes your meals and your passage, and we should be there within a month. Probably less, probably 4 weeks with these winds. And he kind of licks his thumb and holds it up to the air. Yes, I'd say.
All right, perfect. And I drop him the 5 gold.
Wonderful. And he takes it from you. You can call me Captain Cool.
Okay, Captain Cool. I'm sorry, I should explain, because this is an audio podcast, and I salute.
It is an audio podcast, and she saluted me.
But okay, Captain Cool, and I give him a proper salute, as best as I can.
And he chuckles a little, and he says, "Yes, I do get that a lot. Family name, you know." And he says, "Well, good, get on board with you. We already have a few others."
Before I get on the ship, I turn to the kid and I drop him a gold piece too. I'm like, "Thank you very much for helping me."
Oh, the kid looks so amped. This is likely the most money this kid's ever seen in his life. And he's kind of freaking out.
I also ask him, "Do you have a pen?"
And he kind of like feels all over himself. He's just wearing like a little brown shirt and brown pants and like a little cap. And he's like,
"I probably have a pen, right?"
"Yeah, you probably do."
I pull out a pen. I'm like, "It's okay, I got it." And I like write out, "Thank you for helping me." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I didn't get your name."
"Oh, it's Thomas, ma'am."
"Thank you for helping me, Thomas. Love, Tia." And I put a big heart on it. And I actually kiss the other side of it and I hand it to him. Oh. So he has
my god, he looks enamored. He's like fucking blown away. He can barely talk. He's like, oh. He takes it from you and he goes, "Thank you, ma'am. I'll treasure it always."
I also take out my rapier. I'm like, "You are now Sir Thomas the Knight."
Oh my god, this kid!
And I like
this kid loses his
on
shit.
Either side of his shoulder.
He like takes his hat off real quick and he kneels so hard that you're thinking he's gonna hurt himself. But he sincerely believes now that he has just been knighted by the princess. He is now Sir Thomas. He's going to tell everyone he knows. He goes, "My lady, I will always serve you faithfully and honorably."
I put in the back of my head a reminder to put that in my letter so my parents aren't confused.
Absolutely.
And I go on my way. I tip my hat to Mr. Cool.
He tucks in his hat. He's like, "Madam." And he tucks the note you gave him into his hat, and Thomas kind of waves from the shore until he can't see you anymore. The boat starts to pull away. And that's where we're going to end your session.
Okay, perfect.
For the evening. Yeah.
I like Thomas. Thomas is so cute.
Thank you for tuning in to Standard Array. Help our show grow by leaving us a review on your podcast player of choice and sharing us with your friends, players, and DMs. Also, please make sure to follow us on social media or on our Discord server for our next adventure. Links are in this episode's description.